What's going on, Cancer? And welcome to my channel, Alchemist 8. Justin here, and I hope you're having a wonderful week so far. So, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really does warm my heart, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy Higher Self has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. Now, the theme of this week's monthly spread is going to be self-growth, Cancer, and all the ways that you can embody the best version of yourself. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one, so take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, and never force a reading on a situation, okay? So with all that being said, let's jump into it. Your space has been cleansed, gems, feeling cool. Just good vibrations all around here, Cancer. Now with this self-growth spread, I'm gonna be switching it up here for the next couple of readings here. I've just been kind of inspired to just kind of shake things up. You know, I talk about intuition and tapping into that all the time. So it's like, let's see what intuition. Figure might as well show you what it looks like on me. You know how it can, you know, it evolves and stuff. And also, I just got let's talk about the decks I'm using for a second, because the first one that I'm using is the Astro Matrix Tarot deck, and the second one that I'm going to be using, I finally got my first Oracle deck, and I have a wonderful Sagittarius to thank for that. I had just met her this past weekend, and I had been thinking about Oracle decks. She brought it in my life, and I was just like, done. So we're gonna incorporate this thing, you know, and then I've just learned a whole bunch, you know, over these last few days here, Cancer. So we're growing together in this thing. So, but I'm gonna shuffle some cards here. We're gonna go until Higher Self says stop, and then we'll kind of analyze things as we go, you know. So let's see what kind of energies we're working with so far here. Man, Wand City, I'm with it, because I feel like we're at this place of now where we're kind of, I really feel like we're trying to figure out how to get to this place of celebration, Cancer. Maybe you're trying to get, and maybe even bigger than that, maybe you're trying to even get into the limelight here. You know, maybe you want to start a YouTube channel, for example, or maybe you want to get in front of an audience. You know, maybe you're an artist, you know, as far as like a musician, you know, maybe you want to start performing live, maybe start performing at little bars, you know, maybe you're just getting like your first start, or it could be, and it doesn't even matter what age, Cancer. You know, I feel like when it comes to self-growth, young, old, it doesn't matter. You can still embody where the beautiful thing about this journey is that we're constantly growing, and that the universe is constantly presenting us with different opportunities here. But it's one of those things, are we grabbing at those opportunities? Because I feel like with this Ace of Wands being in reverse here, that it's not that, are we gonna do any more? It's not that we're missing out on opportunities per se. It's just that the universe, I feel like, is presenting you options and we're not grabbing at them. You know, I feel like there's this apprehension here. You know, maybe you're at this place of, you know, you want to do this thing, but when we think about the work that comes with it, as far as like, you know, let's say if we're doing like sculpting, for example, you know, maybe finding a venue, you know, figuring out, getting your pieces that you're going to present together. You know, where are we going to get the money for this thing? You know, are the people going to show up? How are we going to advertise this thing? Maybe we get to this place of where it's like we're trying to, where we're knocking it before we've tried it, Cancer. And I feel like that it's really doing yourself a disservice, you know, because I feel like if you feel like you can't do this thing, it's all that we're telling ourselves. You know, I feel like you have the energy for this stuff here, but it's believing that you have this stuff here, knowing that you can rise up to the occasion. If we're worried about X, Y, Z, A, B, C, okay, let's list them out. Wait, why are we focusing on X and Y when we haven't even started with A yet? Let's figure out what A is, and then go down the list here, you know, and then as things make sense, you know, it's like, okay, maybe we can't hit D yet. Okay, we got to get F first, and then we can meet back we work with the energies here, Cancer. We tap into our intuition. We make choices as we go here, but we realize that the big illusion that we reveal from ourselves is that we can't do it, because you can absolutely do it, Cancer. This is something that it's going to be it's going to come down to you, Cancer, because if I can tell you how excellent you are till the sun goes down, same with your family, your friends, but if we don't believe this thing, then the energy is just going to stay there. We're going to sit under all this heat, and then it's going to lead to this place of frustration here, because look at this, Cancer, too. You got a couple cards here that have to deal with the moon. We got the moon in Sagittarius, and we got the moon in Libra here. So how are we staying balanced in all of our decision making here, and then how do we expand off of that? Because Cancer, this energy that you're getting ready to embark on is going to be one of expansion. But if we knock it before we tried it, then what's the point? Let's let go of some old mentalities here, this old thought process here, because it's hindering our growth. You have a bigger, brighter future that's on the horizon here with the Six of Swords popping up, but it's going to be hard going into this thing if we forget that we know, or if we feed into the illusion that we can't do better than, because maybe this is something that it's a number of things, Cancer, that can, could cause that, so, the environment that we've been raised in, society telling us, that there's a certain roadmap that you have to follow, and that's the only way. It could be maybe we have parental influences that may come into the mix here. Maybe, whatever it is, it's finding your own truth in this thing, Cancer, because this is your story. Of course, there are going to be people that you're working with along the way here, but if you are the main character in this thing, Cancer. You are the one that decides, what you cannot do. And even when we focus on things that we cannot do, it's just like, what things do we need to refine at this time, Okay, hold on, let me get this card here. Yeah, Cancer, I feel like it's time to, I think we've been in a place where we've been, because I said this to you when I'm doing this reading, I'm doing the Cancer one from the Chariot and Friends. And I was talking about something kind of similar to this, is that I feel like that when we think about when we were a child, and when you told your parents what you wanted to be, and before there were even any kind of opinions or anything, you dreamed big. There was nothing that you couldn't do. If you wanted to be a tiger wrestling harmonica player, no one could tell you otherwise, because you were going to figure it out, Cancer, because that's as a kid, there's the sky, there is no limits, that we're in a place, and I feel like we're in a place now where we're told that we can't achieve our world here, that someone else has to paint our picture. And the thing with this, Cancer, is that you can let someone else paint this picture here, but then do you feel fulfilled? You know what I mean? And I mean bigger than, like, think about, I had asked a friend this not too long ago, and it's something that had even it had even had me do pause for a second. But it was like, I was listening to this recording of this guy, and he was talking about destiny. And one of the questions he had asked, what would you be doing if money wasn't a factor? If you didn't have to think about any kind of bills, finances, food, all that stuff, just all taken care of here. What would you be doing? Would you be a gardener? Would you be a florist? Would you be that harmonica player? Would you I don't know, start a cat clinic? What would you be doing that would bring you joy, that would bring you happiness and peace, Cancer? Because that's going to be deep down what's going to fulfill you here. It's time to get out of this place of nightmares, where we tell ourselves that we can't arise to this thing, because eventually that's going to get you in this place of down the line, when we get to this when we get to older age and we think about retirement, do we want to look back and think, man, of all the opportunities that have possibly been missed? Or do we want to look back and think, man, I had a blast and I can't wait to show this next generation how to do this journey properly, because I feel like we get into this place of where we always have to put our our dreams are like hobbies. You know, think about if you're any kind of artist, this will probably sound familiar. Someone tries to tell you like, okay, I want to be the next Picasso. Well, that's not practical, you know. Or you're gonna have to maybe be like an art teacher, and which there's nothing wrong with teachers. If anything, that's where the skills get refined. But if it's like you want to do something else, if teaching is not your passion, and you want to be, I don't know, paint murals on the side of buildings or something along those lines, then again, why not, Cancer? Because I feel like that's within your grasp here. Hold on, Cancer. Give me 1 second. I gotta pause. All right, sorry about that, Cancer. I thought I had everything plugged in, but forgot to plug in my computer. Then it was yelling at me. So back to what I was saying here about our worlds being restricted. Hopefully you're following me on this thing, because this is something where it gets me. This is the whole point of honestly why I started this channel. It's about that going on that self-discovery and really realizing your potential anymore. And realizing that there's so much greatness that you can accomplish from this thing. Because Cancer, check it out. I mean, 3 more here. You got 2 of Pentacles, Chariot, and the 10 of Wands. You know, one, let's talk about us, because this is our card, the Chariot. And when the Chariot comes up, this is about realizing that whatever it is that you set your mind to, you can accomplish it. And yes, there's going to be some good times here, and there are going to be times that we're going to have to put in some work. We're going to have to adapt here. And you know, I did Aquarius's reading the other day, and they had brought up a good point, or they had brought something to my attention. When we're thinking about like negativity and things of that, you know, I tell people, you know, you don't want to get caught up in the negative. You know, you don't want that to hinder your growth. You know, we want to get the lesson from this thing. You know, Queen of Cups, get the lesson from this thing and move it forward. But that can also apply to the positive, because if we get too caught up in that, in the sense of like where we get caught up in like where we get nostalgic with it, where it's like, gosh, I remember the good old days when I would blah 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 blah. Or you remember when I could do this stuff without any kind of restrictions, or you know, before such and such did blah blah blah. And it's like, okay, let's, you know, instead of getting caught up in that too and not learning the lessons from there, it's like, how can we repeat that in the present? Because it's just like, that's thinking that you've peaked at a certain point is ridiculous. You know, we never peak. You know, we only peak when we tell ourselves that this is enough here anymore. You know, so let's kind of get this thing in order here, Cancer, because we're gonna get this in order, and we're gonna get some clarifiers here, because I feel like we're at this place of like this burden of not realizing what we're working with here is getting to the place that it's you have the tools I feel like you need to achieve your world here, because the fact that this stuff even pops up here in reverse shows me that at least it's like it's in your radar, you know, it's like it's in your orbit. You know, maybe we may not have eyes on it right now, but let this be the first step, you know, let this be the first signal that you can achieve more. And it's making that decision. Do you want to keep going through this world kind of blind here, you know, kind of feeling like, you know, things that are happening to you, you know, that someone else has to write your script? Or do we want to start making our own story here? Do we want to start creating our own world? You know, because I feel like that there's more to this, Cancer. And I feel like if you want to shine your brightest, you know, if you want to achieve, if you want to get on stage, if you want to get some sort of public acclaim, maybe you want to be like an orator, you know, do some public speaking, you know, do some, maybe like self-growth is your thing. Whatever it is, Cancer, this, you know, there is no limit. It's the limits that we decide to set on ourselves. Now, I think I'm going to get some clarification on the 2 of Pentacles here to get started with, like how we can manifest that energy, you know. So more. And right off the bat, you know, Cancer, I feel like we're resisting that ascension, you know, that it's really understanding the energies that you're working with here. If you feel like the type that, let's say, you understand let's say you understand as far as like how to make that money. You get your stability is set down here, but we don't have that, maybe that spiritual fulfillment or that happiness. Then focus on that side of here, and then vice versa, because it is a balance. It's one thing, you can be super spiritual, but if we're not sure how to operate in this realm here, we're not making the most of our abilities. And I feel like it's tapping into that. It's getting a game plan. It's refining your skills here, because that's what the King of Wands does. He understands that he's working with a bunch of energy here. He's got Ace of Wands just in his pocket, ready to go at any given moment. But it's one of those things, he could be not so mindful with it, and gets, and I don't want to say like even manipulated, but gets maneuvered in the assembly line that is life, that life can be. When we get into that place of where it's just like, you kind of got your week pretty much pegged. It's just like, okay, I'm going to get up, do my thing, go to work, come home and eat, go to bed, and then repeat, and then repeat, and then repeat. And then the weekend we might do something kind of fun, but then there's not enough time, because then we got to think about work again. But I feel like Cancer, if we've been in that kind of rut, there's time to shake that thing up, because the King of Wands isn't the type that, look at your throne here. The Emperor, come on now. This is where it's time to heat up there, Cancer. It's time to come get to this place of where, I just feel like we've been sitting on something for too long, and that it's time to, higher self is trying to get you to grow here, because it's major arcana city here, 9 of Cups. You can get your happiness, your fulfillment, and this again, Cancer, this is all yours here. Is that all in 2 of Pentacles? Okay, this is all yours here, Cancer. This is what you can manifest. This is the potential here. And when I say this type of stuff, that's funny. I was just thinking about the Emperor and the Empress this morning. And when I think about the Emperor energy, the Emperor shows, the Emperor is a display of societal impact. This is, you take the lessons that you've learned from within, the energy that you use to Empress, self-care, nurturing your abilities, learning yourself, figuring out how you manifest abundance, and then the Emperor displays that. The Emperor shows people, the Emperor motivates, and the Emperor inspires. The Emperor brings heat. This is Aries energy here. This is the Emperor's ushering in a new age. It's showing them like, whoever told Cancer that they can't do it, the Emperor's here to show them, I'm gonna show you today. This is the end, and going forward, Cancer, because this is the thing. We're the chariot. You just don't stop there. You don't stop at Emperor. We keep that bad boy. You refine that thing, and you keep it moving, because there is more expansion to happen here. And it literally is whatever expansion looks like for you in this time. This is something that it's all grand. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be limited to where, if you're the type that wants to, what's a good one? If you just want to, let's say you're an artist and you want to make, I'm thinking I got art on the brain, but let's say you want to just make your own tarot cards. That is going to have a major, you may think, that's not going to have a major effect in the grand scheme of things, but of course it will, because it's more art out there. It's more, you're creating something out there, and someone's going to see that, and they're going to utilize this thing, and then they're going to tell their friends about it. Hey, I just bought blah blah blah, and then next thing you know, everything's blown up, and it's phenomenal, Cancer. I think I'm going to give a little bit more on this 2 of Swords here, because I feel like we're at a crossroads here, especially with this Chariot, 2 of Swords energy. Let's see, I feel like there might be a connection there. Well, right off the bat, it's affecting your Ace of Pentacles here. It's Cancer, I feel like you're right there, but we're not trusting ourselves, there's still this doubt, more on there. And there's just, Cancer, there's just potential. There's potential there. You can cross over, because more Aries energy here. If you in self-growth, I feel like if you were to come at this thing with, like how you would treat a video game character. Because I feel like we've all played some, or any type of game or something that involves growing. You know what I mean? I think about, for me, I think about like Pokemon. That's like, that's like the staple for like around my generation. And you go to level up this creature, you're putting in all this time, you're feeding it potions, it's learning new moves, you're fighting different trainers, and then you go up to your gym leaders and then to your Elite Four. But it's exciting, as you're seeing that thing grow, and then as that Pokemon evolves, it's thrilling because there's new potential that's being unlocked. And I feel like if we could just take that enthusiasm and pour it into ourselves, understanding, because think about it, when you go to do these game stuff, if you're real serious about it, people do some mad research into like different characters, understanding their stats, their traits, what are some things that I could do with it. We do that same stuff for ourselves there. And I mean, not just even you, Cancer, just in general. I mean, it'd be just a bunch of champions all over the place. And we could be just basking and celebrating this. We could achieve so much in half the time than how we've been operating up until now. You know what I mean, Cancer? There's something that's bigger that's coming here, and I feel like that there's been this thing has been a burden. That this not getting to your being your best self, embodying this energy. Oh, Cancer. I think I'm gonna get a little bit more on the Six of Cups, and then we're gonna pull some Oracle cards. So, okay, yep. Queen of Wands wants to come out here. Absolutely, yeah. We'll take all those there. More. Okay. So what do we got? Yeah, Cancer. Maybe this is something. Maybe we're worried about tapping into maybe some old wounds, because when I feel like we get into self-growth, sometimes when we really dig deep, we realize that we were the ones that we're as let me just spit it out. We're as guilty as the people who have inflicted stuff on us. And what I mean by that is, it's one thing, because everybody has, let's say, like that one person back when they were back in their, growing up, that really kind of ticked them off, that really rubbed them some kind of way, maybe got them, might have felt like, well, if it wasn't for such and such, I would have did blah, 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 I just think that we get to this place of where we take what maybe one person has said, and we let that thing define us, then we take on that energy, and then we still feed that thing, and it's still manifesting even to this day. And it's one of those things that I think when you have a chance, as you learn to discover yourself, and however you do that, because this could be too, it doesn't, maybe doing it by yourself sounds kind of hard, and which believe me, I get it. If we need to maybe seek out, and keep in mind, this isn't professional help here. I'm not come on now. But if we need somebody, like maybe we need to seek something more professional, there's nothing wrong with that. When we get into the talk of like self-growth and embodying the best version of ourselves, mental health is just as important as any other, as your physical health, as your spiritual health. It's all ties in all together here. So there's going to be some things, Cancer, when we're going through this journey, it's going to hurt. You're going to feel some kind of way about some things. And I don't mean it doesn't have to be anything severe, but there may be feelings there that you didn't realize were there, and then that could potentially unlock something else there. So it's one of those things too, when you're dealing with this, address it, and then when it becomes too much, set it aside here. But whatever it is, there's something in the past here that I feel like it's messing with our full potential here. Being able to manifest and being able to start new opportunities here to jump into this thing. I feel like your little you it's hurting right now, and we need to get action on it. We want to take, when it makes sense, to start taking steps towards healing here. And I feel like it's about time to just like light a fire back inside, because the Queen of Wands can be she can be very aggressive energy here, but she's the type that she's tired of not being able to, she's tired of being tired. You know what I mean? That's when the Queen of Wands is ready to heal, it's just like, all right, that's enough. The fire's lit. The chariot, it's time to get back on this chariot and get moving, and whatever that looks like for you, Cancer. So anything else, higher self? All right, let's get on to some oracle cards here. I'm not going to pull not nearly as many, Cancer, but we're just going to pull a couple oracle cards. And the deck that I'm using for this, it's the Anatomy of a Witch oracle deck. Super cool. I really love this thing. So hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I have. But you know, Cancer, I really think that maybe some, because I don't want to say that, you know, astrology is just the answer, numerology is all that, like, because I know that that can be a lot, and that's something that if it's not your jam, you know, that can be, it can be a lot to deal with anymore. But I really do feel like it would benefit you, and I am working on some ways to, you know, make that more digestible. And you know, it's not just me. You know, there are a bunch of others that I'm sure you're watching. That it's, you know, it's just piecing that all together. There, Cancer. There are more ways. It's all a matter of perception. Because I feel like right off the bat, you know, starting with these oracle cards, you got the perception in reverse here. And I feel like it's just we're not opening ourselves up to all the opportunities here. We're being very, I feel like we're being, it's very base level how we're operating here, and I feel like it's time to expand more. Starting with this, you know, I think about, it's you got the smell card in reverse here, and believe me, when I got these cards, I know when I was saying them, I was just like, just settle in, Justin. I know how it's gonna see. You know how it's gonna sound. They know how it's gonna sound. What's the message? And the message is, I feel like it's thinking a bit broader in how you perceive intuition and how you perceive life. You know what I mean? Instead of just going through this journey on autopilot, start checking in more, being more present. What smells are around you right now? How's the temperature feeling? What sounds are going on here? What do you see? You know, what are you tasting in that moment? You know, like, did you just have something to eat? You know, I feel like it's tapping into more of this stuff here. It's because there's stuff all around you here. You got this amulet in reverse here, and you got this banishment in reverse. And I feel like it's where we're clinging on to old ways, and there are new tools that are waiting to be discovered here for you, Cancer. But it's really just wanting to tap into this stuff. It's believing that there is more for you to tap into, so that you can level up, so that we can, because man, I tell you, even just thinking about switching up this way of reading and things like that, I felt like I leveled up, you know, because it's allowing me personally to express myself a bit differently. You know, when I was in a more kind of like a more rigid kind of checklist, you could tell that it was that sometimes it felt like my deliveries might be a little rigid, because I'm trying to fit it all within this box that I've built here. But now that we're just kind of allowed to free flow and just kind of feel this thing out, Cancer, we can get the message, you know, different messages flowing out here. And I hope that, you know, seeing this, one more. But I was hoping that maybe seeing this, you know, seeing intuition being played out this way and seeing how it grows, and, you know, let's switch back over. And, you know, that we're just kind of going with it now, you know, like it's nice. It's so relaxing, and it allows you to be yourself more, you know, at least for me, that's what I've been noticing with this thing. And I feel like with you, Cancer, whatever it is that you want to pursue here, I feel that I've been doing some reading here, and doing some like this little kind of like exercises and things. But I do feel like that what I'm getting from this so far, like what I've been learning and stuff, is just like there's not enough creativity that I feel like is happening in society, in that there needs to be more of that, you know, so that we can allow ourselves to kind of free up the shackles, and to kind of realize that we are able to accomplish so much more, and that if we dismissed every ridiculous thought, then there wouldn't be the plane, there wouldn't be the internet, you know, there wouldn't be cameras, you know, there probably, you know, it'd be a very Okay, I was like, say, I think I'm freezing there for a second, but it'd be a very restricted type of world here, Cancer. Um, but I guess that's a sign that it's time to about wrap up here. So, last thoughts, Cancer. When it comes to learning yourself and wanting to be more, go at that with enthusiasm, because I feel that what you've presented with me, all the tools are here, but it really is just in accepting that you do have this to avail yourself of, you know, and going out there and claiming that and being excited about that, because the Queen of Wands, you told her that she got all this to work with, and look at that. You got your partner in crime here, the King of Wands. You could even think of this as you and your higher self, you know? And I'm not sure if I think I mentioned this. This isn't a gender-specific reading. You know, whichever one of you wants to be higher self, or, you know, whichever one higher self wants to be, you want to be, whatever. But divine counterparts are here. And, you know, that could also be too, you know, once we've gotten here, you know, maybe that it's being with someone who promotes that growth, you know, who wants to see you rise and you know that they'll rise. You know, you work with each other's strengths, because sure, the King of Wands is more calculated with his energy, and he may seem more, that may be the more desirable approach, but the Queen of Wands is more ambitious. She's the type that there's only, my plan is this one, and oh man, I'm freezing up bad here, but my plan is this one, and we're gonna get it going. So get it going, Cancer. I think I'm gonna leave that there, because yeah, the lag is real. So if you like that, Cancer, give it a thumbs up. And if you know someone, Cancer, who might resonate with this, you know, who might need that, all right, you know what? And just to keep that from happening, we're switching over here. So if you know someone who might resonate with this thing, you know, and see, Cancer, this is what happens. We switch it up as need be. And, you know, that might resonate with this, share this thing with them. You know, let's raise that vibration, Cancer. And then, what else do we do? Subscribe, hit that bell button. You'll get notified when I release videos each week. I'm getting better about being on Facebook. You've just got a lot of stuff I'm juggling here, so stay tuned. And then lastly, I mentioned it before, and I mean, hold on, Cancer. The Chariot is here, so this could be a sign. Check out the Chariot and friends. A little shameless, I know, but I discuss lunar shenanigans. We talk about the phases of the moon, syncing up with the energies, just understanding the stuff that you're working with. And all that housekeeping is down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise cards, since we're working with 2 decks now. Okay, so over here, we got 7 of Wands. And from the Oracle deck, we got Blessed in reverse. So with these energies here, whatever it is that you're getting ready to embark on, you know, when I've been talking about like each month, whatever you've been planning, you know, if this is a business, a project, you know, whatever is, you know, personal self-growth, people are going to have opinions. Everyone's got an opinion, you know. Don't let that stop you, because then we miss out on being able to share this gift with others, you know, because it really is, you know, when this blessed card, it is a blessing, you know, whatever gifts that you create here, you're raising our vibration here, Cancer. That's the whole point of this journey, you know. And if we're afraid of stepping out, of embodying the energy that you've been blessed with, then, you know, that's something to sit with, because that's you deserve more, Cancer, and we all deserve that here. So yeah, really, you know, when it makes sense, be with this energy here. Start the healing process, because really, Cancer, something extraordinary can blossom from here. The Chariot can blossom from here. You know, it's just believing that and knowing that down to your heart chakra there. So think I'm going to leave that there. Again, apologies for the lag. You know, thankfully we caught it, and we ended on a strong note there, Cancer, because that's the whole point. Life is going to have hiccups along the way, and we just make this thing work for us. This is working with the energies. You know, you just, because do you want to stay lagged? Is that what you want, or do we want to keep it moving? So thanks, Chariot. I like that. We're leaving that there. So stay safe out there, Cancer. And just like you did here, because man, you keep raising that vibration. And I will catch you on the next one later.